I rattled off a description: pink sweater, red pants, gray boots, blonde hair, large gray eyes. And he told me he'd take the left side of the park. He had a small person attached to his left hand who looked as worried as I felt. "Thank you," I managed to get out. I can't believe this is happening." "Don't panic. Let's meet right back at this bench in," he glanced at his watch, "5 minutes or so, okay?" I nodded and stumbled forward, trying to steel myself against the possibility that she was gone, and this time, something bad could actually happen. The world of difference between my actions, a reverse kidnapping to help a child, not harm, and an actual kidnapping, made me almost capsize with grief. This was only happening because I'd taken her from the woods. There was no one else to blame. I made the rounds again, fitting my body up the wooden tower, my ankles wobbling on the bridge as I scanned all the moving bodies below. Where was she? How far could she have gone? Maybe she'd run back to the bean. A frayed loop of her actions played in my brain. Sometimes she ran off. Sometimes she got excited and forgot to ask for permission. But sometimes kids also just disappeared. It wasn't like her to run off from me, but then again, she had a history of wandering off in general. It's what had given us the cushion of escape in the first place. Maybe this was just what she did in crowds. I climbed down and looked at my watch. I'd never felt more on the verge of coming undone. I retraced my steps back to the bench, but the man wasn't there. I sat on it and dropped my head into my hands. If I hadn't taken that call, if I hadn't been so stupid to turn my back for just a few seconds. But I knew more than anyone that a few seconds was all it took. I made a million deals with myself as the squeals of excited children cut across my conscience. If one was Emma, I'd do anything. If one was her, I'd make it all okay. I took off from the bench again, staking out the same path I'd just been through, the 2 syllables of her name rolling off the back of my throat. I saw girls in similar outfits, girls with similar hair. I lunged at each one, startled parents gripping their children in worried fists. Wild, cautious eyes stared back at me as I extended hand after hand in apology. "I'm sorry, it's my niece. She's run off. I'm sorry, have you seen a little girl? I'm sorry, can you help?" I ran until my calves seized, and I'd circled the park 3 times. I huddled back at the bench as my lungs burned and my heart closed in on itself. "Miss?" I heard the man's voice somewhere around my shoulders and looked up. His son was on his right, fiddling with his baseball cap. To his left, a hand cupped loosely around her shoulders, stood Emma. She held a pile of flowers, roots dangling in her fingers by her right hip. "Is this her?" I dropped to my knees and seized her to my chest. The crunch of petals smashed against my shirt and she screamed in protest. "My flowers! You crushed them!" "Emma, oh my God, are you okay? Where did you go?" I kissed her forehead, her cheeks, and her eyelids. "Why did you run off? We've talked about this. You have to stay where I can see you at all times. Do you understand?" "I didn't," she said, squirming out of my embrace. "I went to pick flowers right over there. I wanted to get you some, and you broke them." Blood coursed through my entire body, my bones limp with relief. I looked up at the man, my savior. "How did you find her? I swear I looked everywhere." "Well, Charlie here has run off a few times, and it's always near the perimeter. They have all those flowers and bushes. Sometimes when they crouch down, you can't even see them. So I took a wild guess, and there she was, picking flowers." His voice was light, relieved. I stood, one hand still firmly on Emma, my knees cracking from all the miles in the car and sudden sprinting through the park. "I can't possibly thank you enough. Ryan Bailey, and you're very welcome." I dragged my eyes from his face and looked down at his son. "And this is Charlie, I'm assuming?" "Yes, this is my son Charlie. He's 7. I pulled Emma closer. "I really don't know how to thank you. I've never been so scared in all my life." Well, especially if it's not your child, he said. Emma glanced at him, her eyebrows cocked in question, and I searched for something to say before she could.